In this presentation, the researchers will explain about introduction or background of study, problem statement, research question, research objectives and hypotheses, literature review, conceptual framework, research design, unit of analysis, population and sampling, sampling technique, data collection and data analysis, findings, discussion and recommendation, and conclusion. Introduction or background of study. Sungai Petani has been selected as a focused area of the study due to a number of reasons. First, it is one of the cities in Kedah with so many vehicles on the road with frequently reported road accidents. It must be backed by data. Second, due to its population and density factor, a factor that is very likely contributed to the road accidents in most cases. In fact, Sungai Petani is also notably cited as the largest populated city in Kedah with 202,939 residents, which city population in 2019. With that in mind, the researchers have chosen the Sungai Petani area as the study area in reviewing road accident among Sungai Petani, with the aim to know the factor that influence of the road accidents and seek to identify how far and significance it leads to the road accident. Let's discuss on problem statement in this research. This study aims to study the factor that influence the road accident around the Sungai Petani is a main platform to know more the factor that actually affected towards society. It is because due to the Sungai Petani is the main city in the state of Kedah and also Kedah's largest city. The population of the Sungai Petani is larger than with other sub-district, which is 202,939 residents. Other than that, the number of road accidents in district of Kuala Muda in 2017 was 6530 and in 2018 was 6552. The percentage of the road accident occurs in this sub-district of Sungai Petani are increased rather than other sub-district due to the Sungai Petani are the main city in Kedah and the largest population with other sub-district in Kuala Muda. Through this problem, the researchers will understand why the researcher conducted this study and know more on the factor that lead to increasing number of road accidents.
Okay, next we move to the research problem. The first research problem is what is the relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. The second research problem is the relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. The third research problem is what is the relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. And the lastly is what is the dominant factor that influence the road accident in Sungai Petani. Okay, due to the research problem, we have established 4 research objectives, which is the first one is to examine the relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. The second one is to examine the relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. The third one is to determine the relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. And the last one is to determine the most dominant factor that influence the road accident in Sungai Petani.
Now, let's move on literature review. First is dependent variable, which road accidents. According to the World Health Organization's WHO, road traffic injuries are defined as fatal or non-fatal injuries incurred as a result of a road traffic crash, and road traffic crash is defined as collision or incident that may or may not lead to injury, occur on a public road and involving at least one moving vehicle. According to the HALT ETAL 2016, many of the road accident problems are caused by the human involvement in the control and coordinated of the traffic, and from researchers' studies have shown that over 90% of the traffic accidents are completely due to human error regarding on the lack of control.
Okay, now we move to the independent variable, which is the first one is driver's behavior. According to the study done by Verma ETL 2017, road accident also depends on the extent of driver's behavior, which has significant towards the road accident. The second one is knowledge of the driver. According to Rice 1989, rule and regulation were designed to control people's behavior rather than make a problem or mistakes.
Next, let's move on research design, unit of analysis, population and sampling technique, data collection and data analysis. Firstly, research design. In research design, we choose quantitative method that used in research. Second, focus on primary data based on questionnaire. Second is unit of analysis, focusing on the individual who has experience of driving the road in Sungai Petani, Kedah. Third, population and sample size. Population which 202,939 residents, which city population 2019, and we choose sample size only 60 respondents. We move to sampling technique, which convenient sampling is used for the respondent that are willing to participate and also people who are having experience using the road. Let's move to data collection, which use primary data from the distribution of questionnaires to the respondent, comprised with 5 sections and developed into 2 language, which bilingual, which is English and Malay. And lastly is data analysis, which person correlation, and we choose multiple regression.
Okay, now we move to the pilot test. 30 respondents has answered the questionnaire, and all the variable, which is the road accident, driver's behavior, knowledge of the driver and road accident, are reliable because all the value are above 0.7.
Next, let's discuss on findings on actual research, which reliability test. 60 respondents has answered the questionnaire, and all the variables, which is road accidents, driver's behavior, knowledge of the driver and road infrastructure item are reliable based on the Crunchbench alpha value, which is the value is 0.867, 0.891, 0.902 and 0.873 respectively.
Okay, now we move to the normality testing. Normality test has been used for this study to determine whether data is collected normally distributed population. The skewness and kurtosis is result to use to identify whether the normality or not normality from the data collected. The value of both skewness and kurtosis statistic result should be between -2 and 2. Based on the result, all the variables are considered normal as all the value are in between the skewness and kurtosis value. Okay, now we move to the research objective 1, which is to examine the relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. H null 1. There is no significant relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. H alternate 1. There is a significant relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. For the decision, based on the table, the value of P equal to 0.010, which is P less than 0.05. Since the value of P less than 0.05, reject H null 1. H alternate 1 is accepted. The value of correlation coefficient is 0.331. Thus, there is a moderate positive relationship between driver's behavior and road accident.
Research objective 2. To examine the relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. H-null 2. There is no significant relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. H-alternate 2. There is a significant relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. The decision is, based on the table, the value of P equals 0.000, which means P less than 0.05. Since the value of P is less than 0.05, reject H null 2. H alternate 2 is accepted. The value of correlation coefficient is 0.638. Thus, there is a high positive relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident.
Okay, research objective 3, which is to examine the relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. H null 3. There is no significant relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. H alternate 3. There is a significant relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. For the decision, based on the table, the value of P equal to 0.001, which is P less than 0.05. Since the value of P less than 0.05, reject H null 3. H alternate 3 is accepted. The value of correlation coefficient is 0.422. Thus, there is a moderate positive relationship between road infrastructure and road accident.
Research objective 4, which is to determine the most dominant factor that causes the road accident in Sungai Petani. H null 4. Driver's behavior is not dominant factor that caused the road accident in Sungai Petani. H alternate 4. Driver's behavior is a dominant factor that caused the road accident in Sungai Petani. While the decision is based on the reported result, all the independent factors are able to explain 43.3% at the variance in factor that affected the road accident. The one-way ANOVA table shows that the model is statistically significant to be used for the prediction, as indicated by the F value of 14.275. Driver's behavior and road accidents are significantly influencing the road accident with P equal 0.185, P more than 0.05 and P equal 0.600, P more than 0.05 respectively. However, the knowledge of the drivers is the main factor that influences the total overall road accidents because of its largest beta by 0.561. Therefore, H null 4 is accepted. Summary of findings. Let's move to discussion. Research objective 1. To examine the relationship between driver's behavior and road accident. These findings supported by the GHIM ETAL 2018, Harish VK Ratna ETAL 2017, as there is a significant relation between the driver's behavior that can lead to the road accident. Therefore, road user behaviors are connected to the road accidents. Research objective 2. To examine the relationship between knowledge of the driver and road accident. The finding is consistent with Riaz Ishrat and Shahid Samia 2018 regarding on the knowledge of the drivers towards road accidents. Thus, it implies that knowledge of the driver is indeed significant to the road accident. Research objective 3. to examine the relationship between road infrastructure and road accident. These findings, supported by the Yusria Damai ETAL 2017, Hope Sin 2013 and Ishtiq Ahmed 2013, as the safety of the road does not depend only on the characteristic of the roadway but also depends on the condition of the roadside. And the last, which research objective 4, to determine the most dominant factor that causes the road accident in Sungai Petani. It illustrates that road accidents that mostly happen in Sungai Petani are coming from knowledge of drivers, and this can give the high potential to the increasing number of deaths occurs due to the road accident.
For the recommendation, there are 5 recommendations, which is the first one is young user need to have road safety education and involvement in the school or university since the age range between 17 and 25, which is represent 35% of the total number of drivers involved in fatalities. The second recommendation is the collaboration efforts initiated by entities or agencies like Petronas and Jabatan Keselamatan Jalan Raya (JKJR). The third one is the campaign emphasize on traffic safety issue. For the fourth one is the intervention by the government authorities such as Road Transport Department, JPJ, Royal Malaysian Police, PDRM, and other related organisations. And for the last one is monitoring on the road accident should be ongoing rather than seasonal or normal hours.
In conclusion, the factors which influence the road accident in Sungai Petani are knowledge of driver behavior, and road infrastructure. It is happening because of less attention given on road maintenance and slow enforcement of rules and regulation. Through this, the road accident increase more each year. The government should make continuous initiative to reduce the road accident in Malaysia because it is so far one of the highest in this region. On the other hand, everyone must note that the effort must not come from the government side alone, but should be everyone's business. Most importantly, the individuals need to consider safety measures when driving their own vehicle.